Drop is about a raindrop that falls for the first time. This is an idea that it kind of goes back a little while. Actually, I started working on this in 2014 and started playing around with this idea of what can travel the world, something that can move around. And the initial thought was actually a quarter. I thought, well, a quarter exchanges pockets and it might travel around different continents and different places. And then I started exploring the drop because I was living in Vancouver before moving to LA. And Vancouver's a place where it rains a lot and it's very green and it brings a lot of nature. But it also kind of brings, like, there's a bit of a sadness to living there when it rains all the time. And then I moved to California and it doesn't rain here at all. And there's drought and there's fires because of it. And I thought, what a cool, like, emotional thing to play with, that rain would mean something to someone in Vancouver and mean something totally different to someone in California. Walt Disney, back in the day, I mean, everything from Steamboat Willie to The Old Mill, multiplane camera, like all those shorts were meant for experimentation. And that's the Disney legacy, is these shorts that were meant to play with the first sound, first audio, or first color. And that's what shorts are. I mean, and it's also to develop talent. So to kind of like be part of that legacy with Disney, where we're developing leadership, we're developing skills of the crew, and technology is just amazing. And I thought about that a lot there's a lot of pressure, right? You're making a short for Disney. That's going to live on for hundreds of years, just like things in the past. So there's a lot of pressure to want to rise up to that occasion. I think with Drop, we wanted to experiment with the look, a painterly look. We wanted to experiment with how organic we could be in the CG pipeline and with a character. So we actually looked back to a lot of like the genie from Aladdin, and there was a character named Morph in Treasure Planet that are these amazingly 2D animated characters that morph and they change shape. And we just haven't had a character like that in our feature films to experiment with. So when we were making Drop, that was the #1 experimental focus for me. Was I wanted to challenge our CG department on how do we create a character that can break apart when his arms come out or little drops come out of him, and he can be this flat or this, squashy and stretchy. And we challenged the rigor and the animators with that problem, and they just rose to the occasion. They studied water in slow motion. They broke down effects. We looked at stuff like Fantasia and Morph and just really experimented with that idea. What I love about Short Circuit, and it can be tough at times for sure, but I love that it works around our other projects. So we'll have features going on and we'll have theme park stuff and we'll have other shorts happening. And these short circuits kind of squeeze into those empty gaps when you might have a week or two here or a month over here. And I think what you get from that is a lot of people from around the studio reaching out to you saying, I want to work on your short. They see an image or they see an animation test and they email you and say, I want to work on your short. And I think that's the coolest thing. I had people like Dan Lund, for example. Dan Lund is an effects animator. He's been here over 30 years. He worked on Little Mermaid. And he emailed me and said, I'd love to do the water in your short. Of course you can do the water. You worked on Little Mermaid. And then he asked for notes. He would say, hey, how does my water look? It looks like water. It looks great. You worked on Little Mermaid. Do whatever you want to do. So that's kind of, that was kind of the feeling of like these excited, passionate individuals. It didn't matter if they've been at the studio a year or 30 plus years. They want to help you make your idea come true and your dreams come true. Yeah. Because we're Disney. We make dreams come true. Yeah. What I learned early on in the program is surround yourself by people that are excited about what they're doing. And because of that, I had this vision that Drop would be a watercolor and it would look like this and move like this. And I had my art director that came on board and he pitched me a new look that wasn't watercolor. It was more of like a pastel painting, and he was so passionate about it. And I'm not gonna tell him no, that's not my vision. I wanted him to be excited about what he was doing. And I knew that his excitement kind of outweighed everything else. I mean, I could force him to do watercolor, or I could let him do what he's excited about. And that was a huge learning curve for me, is just letting these people explore. And as long as everything's on a story point, it kind of supported the film. I hope when some people see Drop, I hope they see the fun, but I also I would like every kid in a car when it's raining outside to see a little drop in their window and picture a little face and just put their finger up there. I think I did that a lot when I was a kid, and when I chose that little moment, I was like, oh, this could be cool. I always used to race raindrops down the window. So I hope some kid somewhere gets to race a raindrop down the window.